Are you here to be popular or are you here to be wealthy? Because if it's about popularity, there's other ways to appear popular. There's other ways to even become popular. But at the end of the day, my belief is that those of us in this group that are licensed real estate agents that are here to actually grow a great real estate business, we're here to actually create wealth for ourselves, right? We're here to actually make an impact in people, not just be perceived as popular. So please do not make the mistake that I made of taking shortcuts. I promise you, you'll look back and be like, that was the longest road I could have ever taken to get to where I wanted to go.
Because the management and transparency is what's very important. So once you submit a referral, you're going to have your own Home Advantage account, and it's going to tell you where everything sits. So if you have 10 referrals that you've sent into the network, it's going to give you all 10 referrals. It's going to tell you every milestone that that client is sitting in, whether they're touring homes, whether they're in escrow. And you now can manage through the Home Advantage application as far as what your pipeline looks like for the referrals that you've sent. And so it's pretty sophisticated, and it's all click of a button, guys.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I know you're probably just joining in. Excited to have you all here. Welcome, you guys. We got the room poured in. Happy Monday. Funny, I just watched a quick video that inspired me. It said, look, if this was your last Monday, like the last Monday of your life, you probably wouldn't be complaining about some of the things that we complain about. I think anytime that we can say, I'm as excited about Monday morning as I am about Friday night, right? Or Saturday, whatever it is, then we've realized that we've made a shift in our lives, going away from like only being in love with the destination to really being in love with the journey. And so for those of you that are just joining, for those of you that are live on Facebook, for those that are live inside the group here today, maybe that's a theme that how do you feel about the journey? Are you as excited about the journey of success as you are success? Because the interesting thing is those that fall in love with the journey are those that are assuredly going to get to the end result, right? Those that only are in love with where they're going with the end result, and they just kind of have to grit their teeth and close their eyes and be like, oh, okay, I guess I'll do this. The reality is they oftentimes because they don't love it, it's really becomes sporadic because they only do it when they feel like doing it. So if there's one change that I could encourage everybody to make this year, as we get started here in this particular topic about how to actually generate referrals from social media, is this concept of actually falling in love with the journey. I think all too often agents I'm not getting results from social media, right? I'm not getting referrals from social media. And so, and this isn't just true of social media. This is true of everything, right? This is true of everything. Everything in life is that we want immediate feedback. We want immediate results. Yet oftentimes in most everything that matters, results don't come immediately. So to start us off, I want to really kind of drive home that point is that getting referrals from social media is actually fast if you do it right. It's faster than if you do it wrong, but it's still going to take a little bit of time. So I'm going to share with you a couple changes that I made to my social media. In fact, I'm going to be really transparent and share some mistakes that I've made. So let me just start with that. Let me just get some of the skeletons out of the closet. So it was about 2 years ago that one of my coaches, who I love and respect, he gave me the advice when it came to Instagram. He said, if you're not yet to 10,000 followers, there's a service that will help you to get there. And the service was through kind of a series of shout outs. Now, why was he so interested in 10,000 followers? Is because when you get to 10,000 followers on Instagram, at that time, it opened up some new things to put links in your stories and all kinds of stuff that wasn't available to anybody else. So he said, you need to get that so you can promote to some of the trainings and stuff that you're doing. So I went ahead and looked at the service that he was pointing me to, and it was pretty expensive. It was like $4 or $5 grand to get to 10,000 followers. Now, this wasn't like buying fake followers. Okay. This was like real shout outs of people who had influence, who would direct people to like real people to go to my following. And I thought, that's a lot of money, right? To get to that. And I was like, I just don't see it. I don't see the value in that. And so I went ahead, and another person in that same coaching group, they said, I found somebody who will do it for less. I was like, done, right? I said, how much less? And it was like way less. I should have known. So anyway, I paid the money, not looking into the details of it. Lo and behold, I had like 17,000 followers, like in a matter of a couple of weeks. I was like, whoa, but I realized they were junk. They were not real followers. They were fake followers. So my Instagram account went from like, thousands of followers to like, boom, up really high. And I was like, that looks amazing, but they're fake followers, right? I bought fake followers. I told you I'm going to be super transparent here. And so then I was like, I noticed really quickly that my engagement just fell off a cliff. Well, it's of course, right? Well, that same company that I bought followers from said, hey, we can help you get engagement. And I was like, well, I need engagement. And so I went to them and I paid them more money, right? Venmoed them more money. And all of a sudden I would post something and I had like 20,000 views, like instantaneously. And I'm like, okay, that's not honest. That's not real. Did that for a little while. And I was like, okay, I can't keep paying these people money. And I realized as soon as I did that, my Instagram reach went to like 0. Like I would post something and I thought like some of the content was okay. Some of it was pretty good. And I would literally get like a couple, like 1 or 2 likes. And I'm like, I've got like 17,000 followers and I've got like 1 or 2 likes. And it was like someone who's a dear friend who worked for me at one point. I'm like, this is awful. This is terrible. So finally I realized, so I worked for the course of about 8 months to say, I'm going to really try and improve my engagement on Instagram. Like, let me stop here for just a second. If by chance you've been either tempted or maybe you've even like made the mistake of trying to jump quickly to what appears like success and it ended poorly, please just put in the chat, whether you're on Facebook or whether you're here in the group. Like if that's you, if you're like, I tried to take a shortcut and it really screwed things up. Like, let us know. Like, let's just be super transparent today, right? This is a private real estate agent only Facebook group, right? Like the whole world is going to see this. Your clients are going to see this, but let's just be honest. Like if you've made the mistake of potentially buying followers or doing something, and at the time I'll plead ignorance in the fact that I thought I was doing what my coach was telling me to do, but it was a shortcut, right? So I didn't really think I was buying followers. I thought I was just getting like a real shout out. Anyway, lo and behold, I screwed up and it totally killed my Instagram account. So over the course of like 7, 8, 9 months, I worked really hard to try and get engagement. I was like in DMing people all the time. Dear friend of mine, who's probably one of the best Instagram in the world. Her name is Michelle Berkman. Anyway, she's fantastic. She owns the company, the Instagram Power Method. So I was following some of what she has taught me about DMing people, like interacting in their comments, like doing all kinds of stuff to try and really get the engagement up. And I couldn't actually make it happen. And so, after about like 8 months of working really hard to like improve my Instagram, reach and engagement, I realized like this account is toast. So January of this year, I started an entirely new Instagram account. So I've got like a couple hundred followers now, right? And so like I literally started from 0, but it's been amazing because I have the right perspective now that I don't care about popularity. I don't, like, it doesn't matter to me. I care about impact and I care about growing a business the right way. And so part of what I want to share with you today is that I want you to be looking at the right metrics when it comes to getting referrals from social media. And that's exactly what I want you to focus on is, are you here to be popular or are you here to be wealthy? Because if it's about popularity, there's other ways to appear popular. There's other ways to even become popular. But at the end of the day, my belief is that those of us in this group that are licensed real estate agents that are here to actually grow a great real estate business, we're here to actually create wealth for ourselves, right? We're here to actually make an impact in people, not just be perceived as popular. So please do not make the mistake that I made of taking shortcuts. I promise you, you'll look back and be like, that was the longest road I could have ever taken to get to where I wanted to go. So I really appreciate the comment here. Matt Driscoll, somebody stole my business Facebook page. So he's rebuilding another one. Matt, thank you for sharing that. I've had another good friend of mine, something very similar happened. His entire Facebook account got hacked. He had to start from 0, right? So sometimes it's self-inflicted, like with me, where you just make like you don't read the details of something and you make a bad decision. or sometimes somebody steps in and actually takes over your account. Whatever it may be, you may find yourself starting from zero. So whether that's you, like me and Matt, right, where you had to start from zero, or you're just not satisfied with where you're at when it comes to referrals from social media. Regardless of where you're at there, today where I want to take you is on a journey to understand how to actually generate referrals from social media. Okay, what that actually looks like. So I'm excited to share some of this. But again, just know that we've all been there, whether we're starting an account over or whether we screwed up. Like we're here for you, right? Like it's okay. Wherever you're at, it's okay, right? Like where you're at is okay, but it's not okay to stay there, right? That's why you're here today. So awesome, David. Thanks for sharing. Okay. Let me begin by let me change your paradigm. One of my coaches, he taught me this. He said, all conversion happens in conversation. In other words, if you're going to get referrals that close, that put commission dollars in your bank account, right, then you are going to want to and have to have a conversation with somebody, right? I mean, think about it. Like at some point, you're going to have to talk to them. You're going to have to talk to these people, right? And so if that is the end goal, is to have a conversion into a client that turns into a contract, that turns into a commission, right? If that's the end goal, which by the way, that is what I'm here talking about today. I'm not here talking about how to become popular on social media. There's plenty of places you can learn how to do that. Today, we're learning about how you can actually put commission dollars inside your account. Okay. So that conversion prior to that is connection. I'm sorry. I'm actually reading Peggy's comment here. So conversion comes from conversation, and conversations, to Peggy, who's here with us inside of Zoom, conversation comes from connection. I totally agree, right? So with that in mind, right? With that in mind, we have to then say, okay, is everything I'm doing on social media designed for me to create a connection with people that will lead to a conversation with people? Because if it's not, or at least not some percentage of our social media, ought to be around how do I engage people in a conversation? How do I connect with people and create a conversation, right? Like once we get that around our heads, all of a sudden our content changes and our time on social media changes, okay? And I'll put in the comment here a link to the IG expert that I mentioned earlier. So appreciate that. So I love these comments, you guys. Miguel, it's about becoming their friend. Dennison, do you have separate personal and business Insta and Facebook pages? I have both. Okay, my personal Facebook page has lots of engagement. My business, almost none. Yep, okay. So let me answer that question, and then we'll dive in, because I think this is really important, because sometimes you're applying some of these principles to a business page, and you're not going to get much engagement there. You're not going to get much connection, and you're not going to get much conversation, okay? So the profile, especially when you're in real estate, where you're advertising to the end consumer, right? The consumer is your client, okay? They want to work with another human, a human who's very good at what they do, but another human. So your Facebook profile, right? Your Facebook profile is the Facebook page that we want to focus on, okay? Now in Instagram, depending upon how you do it, I have a business Instagram page that cross posts to my profile and can cross post to my Facebook page. Okay. So, but in Facebook, I want you to really focus on your profile. And here's why. It's about connecting with a human, not connecting with a business. Now, what is the purpose then of your business page? Business pages are designed by Facebook as a mechanism for you to advertise to groups of people. Okay. It's not really designed to connect and create engagement unless you get deep into their ad tools and their ad set, all of their ad functionality. Okay. But you pay for that. Okay. What we're talking about today is generating organic referrals from social media. So if you're spending a lot of time pouring into your business Facebook page, then you're not going to get a lot of engagement there, because people aren't, they want to connect with another human, and they want to see that you're human. And so I just strongly encourage you that the things that I'm teaching you ought to be from your profile. Okay, hopefully that helps. Thanks for the question, Dennison. Okay. All right, let's dive now into back to this conversation about how we're using our time and our expertise on these social mediums in order to create connection, conversations, conversions, contracts, commissions. It's the C's, right? Connection, conversation, conversion, right? Contract, all that. Like it carries on, but we have to be able to engage with people. So first and foremost, I want you to think of your social media less as a microphone and more as a big listening tool. Okay. Oftentimes when we consider what it is that we are doing with social media, we think, what am I going to post? What am I going to say? Our whole process is about what can I put out into the world? Now, I do believe that we should be posting frequently on social media. For some of you, it's multiple times a day. For others of you, it's at least 3 times a week. Okay. I think at minimum, you ought to be posting at least 3 times a week. Okay. On your social media medium of platform of choice. Okay. Now, if you're more advanced, then it might be more frequently than that. But at minimum, it ought to be that. Now, beyond thinking of it just as a broadcast tool, what am I going to say? Post and ghost. That's not going to work very well. Instead, what I want you to consider is how much time am I spending on social media listening, right? People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. We've all heard that before. That couldn't be more true in social media. You can spend all your time posting and leaving, but it would be the equivalent to a party. In fact, let me just share a metaphor. Let's imagine that you got invited to a party. And at this particular party, there was all kinds of people who you hadn't met before, some of which you had met before. And you come to that party and you're so excited to share some things with other people. And you start talking at people and you start talking at people, right? You caught that, at people. And as soon as you get what you have to say out of your mouth, you go leave and you go talk at some other people in another room. And then you go talk at some other people in another room. Right? Let me ask you the question. Will people possibly hear what you said? Maybe a little bit. Will they be really interested? Was there any connection? Was there any conversation? Right? Was there any conversation? No. So therefore, will there be any conversion? This oftentimes is our strategy. And as a result, we end up not getting a lot of results. As a result, we end up not actually getting any referrals from it. Well, and we wonder why, right? Think of your favorite social medium again as a big party. How are you showing up? And number one, whoever the guest of that party was, or the host of that party, are they going to invite you back? Are they going to invite you back when you were the person that just kind of cornered people, talked at them, left, went to another room, talked at them? Like, you're probably not going to get invited back. You're not a very fun guest. So in Facebook, right, the host, call it Mark Zuckerberg and his algorithm. And Mark Zuckerberg and his algorithm don't want people to just post and ghost. He wants active interactions. Why? Because that's how his company makes money, is the more engagement that people have, right? The more that happens, the more people stay, the more people feel a connection, the more people are in conversations. That's why Facebook went away from just a news feed to Facebook groups, because they realized, like, we can put people in a room that all have something alike, something in common. They'll have more conversations, they'll get more value, and they'll stay longer. So we can put our ads in front of them more frequently. So we then have to ask ourselves, okay, what kind of party guest am I, right? What kind of party guest am I? Now, to answer Janet's question really quickly, she says, when you say profile, you mean personal Facebook page. So there's 2 terms. Profile is like, that's what Facebook calls, yes, your personal. It's not really, it is a page, but yes, it's your personal. Like, it's not attached to a business. It's not a business page. So that's the distinction that Facebook uses. There's profiles and there's pages. Profiles are personal. Doesn't mean that you don't put some business stuff there, but your business page is really a page designed for a business. Doesn't mean you can't put personal stuff there, but profile and page, that's the distinction. So great question, Janet, in case any of you others had that. Okay. Sorry, I'm jumping around here a little bit, here a little bit. I appreciate everybody staying with me as I'm answering questions as we go. So asking yourself the question, what kind of guest am I at this party? What would be a guest that you would always want to bring back, that Mark Zuckerberg would say, hey, you're always welcome at my party, right? And the people that at the party would be like, oh my goodness, they're here, they're coming. Oh, you got to meet this person. Oh, they're so good, right? Can you see the correlation now between social media and a party? We have to position ourselves as being a party goer that people like, right? That people want to have back, that people want to engage with. Okay. So what does that party goer look like? Well, think about it. They come and they bring something, right? They come to the door, right? Of a party you're hosting at your house. They come to the door and they hey, I brought something for the party. I brought something for the guests. We're always thinking about how I can bring value. Okay. So that's step one, is like, what are you bringing to the party? Are you coming just to take and get referrals, or are you coming to give? Okay. So ask yourself, what am I going to bring of value today? And then once you're in the party, you're going to be very curious about other people. You're going to go see, what are people already talking about? How can I be an engaged and enthusiastic listener? How can I ask more questions? Okay. Now, at a party, we see how that would show up. On your news feed, here's how that shows up, right? Is you go look at the people that I want to engage with at this party called Facebook, this party called Instagram, and we're making comments. Right? People have started a post and we're making comments, and then they're making stories and we're making comments. Okay. We're engaging with them. We're asking questions. We're being curious. We're not necessarily just having somebody come in and say, hey, nice picture, right? 100 times on our behalf. Like, that's not real. And that's not really what's going to develop a really great connection with people, right? You're having somebody, you're outsourcing relationship. I guarantee you wouldn't do that in your marriage, right? If these relationships matter to you and you actually want to create connection and you want to create conversations and conversion, it's going to need to be like you're going to want to gather the information here. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't a place for virtual assistants to help post stuff and to help do some other things. But if you really want to create connections with people, you actually want to generate referrals, not leads, I'm telling you, you need to dedicate some time to do this, to be a good party goer. And so I would recommend spending at least 30 minutes every day. In fact, I would say this, you're probably already spending more than 30 minutes a day on social media. So I'm just encouraging you to reallocate your time to a more effective process. So you show up in social media, you're thinking, what can I give of value? You're going to the people who matter most to you, right? Now, maybe not just what the news feed gives you, but maybe you have your CRM open. You're looking at, who are my A+ clients? Who are my key referral partners? Who are the people that I know can be a benefit to me? I'm going to go engage with them. I'm going to listen to what they're saying. I'm going to comment on their comments. I'm going to comment on their stories. Okay. And what happens when we do this is, all of a sudden people take a liking to us. Like, who's this person that keeps commenting on my stories? Who's this person that keeps commenting on my comments? Guess what? Not only are they going to be interested in hearing what you have to say, not only are they going to be interested in kind of raising their hand, being like, who is this person? Like I want to learn like what they know, right? Again, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Once they know you care, now they want to hear what you know. So not only is that happening organically because people feel this desire to get to know you because you've been engaging with them, but also the algorithm starts to trigger, right? And you want the host of the party, aka the algorithm, to like you. And they're going to say, hey, this person is commenting on this person's comments. They're engaging with them in direct messages. So you know what? We're going to start to put this person's comment on these people's timelines. So the people that you want to attract, the people who you want to be in front of, you can actually get there organically by just being a good party goer, right? And then producing interesting content, like I said, multiple times a week, at least 3 times a week, put interesting content out there that would engage your ideal client. And guess what? Because there's this interaction going on in the comments and in the direct messages, your content's going to start to show up in front of those people that can be great referral sources for you. I'm going to stop here for just a second. I'm going to share, I'm going to answer a few questions. So if you have questions, put them in the comments now. And Jake, if I'm missing anything inside of the Facebook group, if you'd put those here in the chat, so I'll answer them for everybody. So Matt says here, I want people like my neighbor who say everybody needs a Matt on their block because he helps solve problems in the neighborhood. Awesome example, Matt. Talk about a good party goer, right? It's like your community's like, hey, this is a good dude right here. This guy just brings value. Like everybody needs a neighbor like this. Awesome. Great example. Love it. Let's see, did I answer the other questions? Do you have a separate, okay, we asked that one. It's about becoming their friend, Miguel, spot on. What was the name of the IG expert? Okay, I'll put that in the comments so you guys can link to her. She's great. So, okay, let's keep going now. Now you might be asking yourself, okay, Justin, these are great tips. I'm going to be a great party goer. I'm going to spend at least 30 minutes every day engaging in people's timelines, engaging on people's stories by looking at their story and commenting on stuff. Okay. But where should I be doing this? Should I be doing it on LinkedIn? Should I be doing it on TikTok? Should I be doing it on Facebook? Should I be doing it on Instagram? I would encourage you to start with the social media platform where your ideal clients are hanging out the most. Okay. If they're on TikTok, then you ought to be on TikTok. If they're on LinkedIn, then you ought to be on LinkedIn. If they're on Instagram, if they're on Facebook, then you ought to be there. Okay. So choose one to start with and get really good at that one. Now, I know what we've all been taught is be everywhere, right? You heard me say this before. Be on all social media platforms. I don't disagree with taking content that you've created for Instagram and also putting it on LinkedIn and also putting it on TikTok, right? If your core platform is Instagram, then create content that's ideal for that and then cross-post it these other places. Absolutely. Like it's not going to hurt anything. But when it comes to you showing up, it's really hard to be at two parties at the same time. And I want you to realize that find out where your people are at and go spend time at that party, right? It doesn't mean that maybe if social media is your only method of generating business or your primary method of generating business, that you shouldn't also be, on multiple platforms, but start with one, get really good at creating conversations with the first, and then you can expand to that afterwards. Okay. The other thing that I want to share with you is not only is it important to engage in these conversations with people you're connected with, but Facebook groups is a great way for many people to get referrals. I know agents who will pull a referral a week out of these community groups, right? So for example, where I live, it's called Oregon City Chit Chat, right? Where there's just community members that are sharing stuff. Think about each of those little groups and groups inside of Facebook. Where are the ones where people are talking about moving, where they're talking about needing to move? Go to that as a separate room inside of the bigger party. So Facebook is the party, right? I sound like Nacho Libre there a little bit, at the party. I don't know if anybody caught that reference, but anyway, go be a really valuable member of that particular room inside this bigger party house, right? Facebook is the big mansion, and then there's these rooms. Go be valuable inside of there. Same principles. Go, what can I bring to the party? Who can I engage with? Don't always be selling, right? That methodology and referrals doesn't come across very well, right? Show up, give value. If you look through that news feed and you see any items like that you can contribute to it. People have questions about a barber. Put down what you know about a barber. Don't fake it if you don't know it, but be genuine, be helpful, and your name will start to be brought up. I also think it's valuable if you have teammates to have them potentially in there as well. If you've got administrative assistants, if you have other agents, people who are all contributing to the same bucket of leads, same bucket of referrals, have them present in as well in case when you're out with an appointment or doing another form of lead generation, because sometimes those things come quick, right? And they'll put out a number of real estate, like, hey, anybody know a good realtor? And they'll put, oh, this person, and like 3 or 4 people in the same thread will answer, right? In the same thread will answer, oh, so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. And oftentimes it's the first person to say, hey, I'm here, and direct message that person. Hey, let me know if I can help you, right? So having potentially some other eyes on those key groups that are in your community where they're actually having conversations about moving might be worth your time, right? I wouldn't necessarily start there, but it might definitely be worth your time. Let me know if anybody else has any questions. I've got just probably one more thing to share before we go, but in case anybody else has any questions, please feel free to put it in here. So excited to have, we've got a great group here live. I want to be sure that you guys walk out of here with a different way of thinking, right? So if you have questions, be sure and put it in the chat. All right. Now, The last thing I want to share with you is, what does this look like from a procedural standpoint? Like, what time of day should I be doing this? How do I know who to talk to? And I've shared kind of little tidbits, but I want to crystallize what this looks like. I think social media is a great time to be lead generating before it might be okay to start calling people. Okay. So I always recommend to my private clients to start off the day by business learning, like study your MLS, right? What's happening? What's changed? What's new? What's interesting? In other words, you're going to the store, right? Or it could even be like business development stuff. Like how are you growing yourself, making yourself more valuable to the public? This would be like going to the store before you go to the party to get something nice, like a charcuterie board to bring to the table, right? So first and foremost, again, it's how can I actually be valuable today? Okay. So that would be the first thing. I think if you're starting your day off early, 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30, to where you're doing some business learning the very first thing you're doing. The second thing that you're doing, right, is that now you're engaging on social media. When I say engaging, you're going, and I think one way to do this is go to your Instagram or your Facebook. If you're looking at the circles up at the top, go all the way to the end, like scroll all the way to the far right-hand side and move back this way. Okay. Because what's going to happen is that Facebook or Instagram, they're going to put whichever people that you've associated with most recently first. So if all you do is move like they share from left to right, you're going to have the same people over and over and over. And what you want to do is be sure that you're actually connecting with people who you're intentionally looking. So in other words, look at your little circles, scroll all the way to the right, and that will tell you all the people that have posted a story. In other words, they've been active on this social media platform in the past 24 hours. This doesn't show all of the people you follow, just the people who have posted a story recently, okay, within the past 24 hours, which is a good sign. That means they're here, they're present. In other words, there's people at this party, okay? And then it doesn't mean you need to comment on everybody, but anybody who you feel like is someone that's a worthwhile connection for your business, a worthwhile conversation for your business, just start picking them. Click on their stories. Typically, they've got 2 or 3 there, right? Look at all 3 of them, decide which one of these 3 stories that they've posted in the past 24 hours do I have the most to contribute. Now, at minimum, you can just push the little heart button or give them a little thumbs up or something, is saying like, hey, that's cool, good job. And that might be appropriate at times. But I would also ask you to consider, how can I turn what they've posted here into a conversation, right? Hey, great looking restaurant. Where's that at? Now, if it's super easy for you to find the answer somewhere else, like don't inconvenience people, right? Don't ask dumb questions. Don't ask stuff that's not really, don't engage in conversations that other people don't want to be in. But be thoughtful, be interested in them. Okay. Ask questions that you feel like that they have something unique to share that you couldn't just find out by, hey, what's the address of that place? Like, oh, geez, I don't know. I guess I'll Google it and give it to you. Like, don't do that. But actually be thoughtful, be helpful, be considerate, be encouraging. And when appropriate, ask questions that engage in a conversation. We did that last year. It was a ton of fun. Did you guys go see this while you were there? Right? I'm putting this out to the world because it's something that's interesting in me. And I'm looking for people who want to have conversations about this. Okay. So be that person that wants to engage. So that's from a procedural standpoint. That's what I would encourage it to look like. Start with the stories because that's 24 hours most recent. That's what's already on their mind. You're not trying to give them a new topic. Hey, let's talk about this. They've already suggested that this is what they're interested in right now. You're showing up relevant. You're showing up timely. You're showing up valuable. Okay. So once you go through the stories and handpick the people who you feel like are people with whom you want to connect with, it's a good idea for your business. Okay. Then at that point, I would potentially open up your CRM. Say, who are the people that I need to be connecting with on a regular basis? And just start at the top of the most, like, hopefully you have it tagged, like VIP clients or A+ clients, and just look at them and then search them on social media. Look at them, search them on social media, and be sure that there's nothing there that you missed. Maybe it was a birthday, maybe it was an anniversary, maybe it was a death, maybe it was a divorce, something that either they need to celebrate or something that they need a friend to help them through this. Okay. You don't want to miss those things, because oftentimes people will call, oh, how's it going? And they just realize that their family had some real issues recently, or their child's in the hospital and you have no idea. Right. So this is a great way for you, again, to use social media, not just as a megaphone, but as a real listening tool. Okay. So cross-reference, have your CRM open and just go through and just check on people, right? Like be a good friend, be somebody who's interested. And one of the most valuable things you can do at that point, if you see someone who had a birthday, see some, of course, comment, of course, send them a direct message, of course, maybe send them a video, but maybe for the right people, maybe you send them a bouquet of flowers. Maybe if you saw someone just became an empty nester, their kids going off to college, you send them a book, right? Hop on Amazon, find a book on that topic and send it to them. All of a sudden, you've taken what was social media kind of not noise, but just like you're one of a crowd. You're one of 50 people who hearted their comment to the one person that took action that was very meaningful to them. That's how you stand out in a crowd. That's how you really make an impact upon people. Now, if you remember what I shared at the beginning, is that all too often we're only looking at success. And we're like, oh, I got to do this thing to get to success. When we start to change our perspective, we start to change our paradigm, and we see it as, I get to serve these people, that I get to love on these people. I get to help these people. I get to, again, celebrate their successes and mourn their losses. All of a sudden, you're going to fall in love with the journey because you realize that our business is about serving people. Our business is about helping people. When we really get clear on that topic, when we really get clear on the fact that, like, you know what, I have a pretty sacred trust here. Not only do I get to help people move into the most important structure of their life, which is their home, but I also get to be a part of their life. I get to actually serve them outside of that real estate transaction by connecting them to people and resources and things that will be helpful to them. All of a sudden, you're going to fall in love with the journey. All of a sudden, your Mondays are going to be Saturdays, right? Your Mondays are going to be Friday nights, where it's like, oh my goodness, I love what I do. I get to get up every day for 30 minutes and just look for people to serve, look for people to engage with, starting conversations. When you start to show up like that, you're going to have a business like my friend and client Ben Andrews has, where he says, we just outcare our competition. We just outcare our competition. And because they outcare the competition, they end up getting people referring them all the time. Now, I promised everybody here that I would give you the contact info of the Instagram Power Method, who's a good friend of mine. She's awesome. Her name is Michelle Michael, Mikel. And you can find her on Instagram, the Instagram Power Method. Just search that, you'll find it. But she's a great resource when it comes to actually getting kind of a deeper level of help when it comes to these things. And lastly, if anything here that I've shared with you has been helpful, please find me on Instagram at Justin Stoddart, Stoddart, or find me on Facebook. And I look forward to connecting with you. I look forward to building a relationship with you. So I want to thank everybody again for tuning in today. Thanks so much for LabCoatAgents for having the best real estate community in real estate. It's such a pleasure to be the referral guy and be able to be on here every week, teaching you how to get warm referrals. And I'm telling you, there are so many opportunities on these social mediums in order to generate warm referrals. It just requires us to show up at the party with being the kind of guest that our host wants to have back, that our host wants to introduce to everybody, and that all the guests say, that person was great. That person was awesome. Where is that person? I want to go listen to what that person says. So with that being said, guys, I'll end the same way I end all of my podcasts, which are with these three simple words, and they are: go, think bigger, and realize that there are so many referrals right in front of you. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Let me know how I can help you. Please connect with me on social media. See you soon.